This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, May 10th, 2016, episode 69. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. At Nicholas M. Craig is my Twitter. InfectionPodcast.com is the website. Joining me, back again by popular demand, Brian Aldrich.
Yes.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, if you want to find me, go ahead and first on Twitter at Boise Computer, or if you'd like to go to our website, of course, Infection Podcast is probably the best way. Make sure you join our Steam group. So if you, I don't know how by this episode, maybe you're a new listener, you haven't figured that out. But if you do listen to our show, I'd really encourage you to go join our Steam group. It's an excellent way to meet some of our other members.
I can concur with that, Brian. Definitely a good way to meet some of our other members. And
another way is Friday.
yes, so I'm going to...
I don't know if you want to go into that a little bit.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just start up. We'll do this at the beginning of the show for a little while, just till we get people kind of brainwashed into the idea of going to our Steam
This is their
page.
Friday night.
Yeah, so Friday nights, of course I closed Steam right before this. Friday nights we're doing our, we need a name, I guess it's like Infection Game Night. And our buddy Langun runs it and he streams it, and we host it on our Twitch channel. But pretty much what we're doing is, because we were like, we had H1Z1 going for a while and that was fun. And then we played Ark, and then after Ark, it kind of like if you were looking at a graph, like it kind of it didn't do anything for like months. Our team sync was empty. Nobody was playing anything. And then Friday nights, kind of off the cuff, Langun or Brian.
Landon and I just started playing
on Friday nights.
We should do some on Friday. Yeah, so we started doing Friday nights, kind of mixing between Friday and Saturday, depending on what was going on. But
so now we've got this.
Nick was like, we need to do it every Friday.
Exactly. So now we've got this Friday night game night. And what we're doing is, if you go to the Steam group Monday or Tuesday before Friday, so if that beginning of that week, there will be an event in there listed for Friday that will have the game, what time we're playing it, and just giving you some information so that if you need to, like last week we did Overwatch, you needed to download, that's like a 6 or 7 gigabyte download. You needed to download battle.net, create an account, download the beta, and then you're good to go. So this week's game is H1Z1 King of the Kill. We did this a few weeks ago.
Almost everybody has.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how you're watching this podcast and don't own H1Z1. And if you don't, I don't even know if I could recommend it. But I think everybody owns it. So.
If you don't, just wait till next week.
Yeah, exactly. So this is tonight's, or I'm sorry, not tonight. It's Friday night's game. It's King of the Kill. It'll be on Langun's channel, twitch.tv/Langun44. We'll put it out on Twitter. We'll host it on our Twitch channel. But the Friday in Overwatch, we had at one point 13 or 14 people, and we played Overwatch. We did 6v6s, and Brian, we schooled you. It was like, I don't even remember who was on my team, but it was pretty much Brian and myself, and we had like 5 other people with us.
Ross was on your team.
Yeah, Ross. I'm pretty sure Langun was on my team.
Yeah,
and
Landon
you got
was on yours.
You got wrecked.
Yes, we did.
But it was a lot. Overwatch was so much. I already bought it. I pre-ordered it.
I know. That's what I was
so
told.
much fun.
Like, someone told me Nick bought it already. I was like, oh, yeah, it must have liked it.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very smooth. I mean, that was
it's
open beta.
It's TF2, but more hardcore-ish than Team Fortress 2. Yeah, Unicorn Joe was awesome at healing. There you go. So we had a lot of fun with that Friday. We had a 6v6 and we had 2 spectators. So we had 13 or 14 people.
Yep.
So that worked out very, very
well. And the week before, was it the week before, we had 15 or 16 people.
Yeah,
so if we can keep that up. We've been just splitting off into different teams. Overwatch was nice because we could play against each other.
Yes.
The queuing system was perfect. We're going to be playing H1Z1, so there will be a lot of queuing nightmares and waiting for people to die.
How dare you?
Hopefully someday they'll figure that out.
Yeah, there you go.
Because, I mean, this is the perfect example of when your queuing system doesn't work. It makes it really hard for groups of 5 people, 6 people to go in and play a game like this.
Yeah. So that was Friday night. This Friday night, King of the Kill. I'm not going to be around. I'm not sure if Brian will be, but Langam will be around.
I should be. Yeah.
So okay, so somebody, there'll be people there. Just join the team speak, and we will be good to go from there. So other than that, Overwatch beta, we played that. Coming up this week is King of the Kill, and I think that's about it. Anything on your front over there, Brian, that you want to mention before we get started?
No, I think that's it. We can go right into it.
All right, so Ark finally after.
So they're finally putting out.
It's
updates.
been a while. Is it?
They had like a week or two.
It's not even a week or two. I feel like it's been almost a month since we've had very little content for like a month. I don't know. That's normally a good indication.
Well, they kept on posting. This is coming up. This is coming up, and
that's
they finally put out a major release.
So I'll let you run away with this. Lots of good names to pronounce in here. So I'll let you. I'll let you take this away.
All right. So they got the Lystrosaurus.
This is
they
240.
added in the 240, so it's 240.0. So this was the first of their major patch, and this is an herbivore, and so, I mean, it looks
like every other animal in the game.
It looks like a sluggish-skinned. I don't even know what it is.
Looks like a gecko,
but
a big gecko or a big lizard.
Now, one thing they put on here is temperament is loyal, so that's kind of unique. I've not really seen them put as far as domesticated. It's an extremely loyal pet once tamed. So it says it's a fast learner, so it gains experience much more quickly than most other creatures. So it'll level up really fast. It says if its presence nearby appears to inspire allies, making them learn and gain experience more rapidly as well. So this is a way to level up faster. It'll not just you, but your whole group. Everyone that's around it gains experience in the game faster, which is kind of unique. They haven't done one like that before.
Yeah, it's like a globe. Instead of just advancing
like
one person. Yeah, it's a pretty much it's a buff. It's like
an XP buff.
Yeah, it's an XP buff. Exactly.
All right, so then we got the Arthropluria. Is that right?
Arthropluria.
Okay.
Yeah,
Arthropluria. And so this is it's a carrion feeder. So it says once domesticated. It says they're simple-minded and pretty easy to tame.
There you go. That's offensive.
It's almost entirely a military mount, and it's useful mostly for attacking at a distance. So, this is going to be pretty much one that you ride and will attack people with. So this will be, and it looks pretty cool. They have some really cool color variations of it, pretty unique. And so it's rideable, tameable. You can get a saddle for it at level 50, and it lives in the caves. So I don't think you can ride them in the caves unless maybe the server allows it, because they have been limiting the riding in the caves. But
it's creepy. It's really weird looking. I don't like this one.
Yeah,
I'm not digging it.
It's like a millipede.
It is. It's a millipede, and it's kind of gross. I don't know.
So, and then they added a new fish. They added the saber-toothed salmon. So it's pretty much a big salmon that has a saber tooth, like saber teeth in it. So it's a carnivore. You can't tame it, so it's not tameable. It's not rideable, but you can get prime fish off of it. So it's good for getting the prime meat. And then we got also along with that, they added fish meat. So it's a new type of a meat.
Yeah, which interesting before. I never even thought about that. There was no fish meat.
Yeah, it was pretty much meat. So now they're like, okay, well, here's going to be fish meat. So that gives them a little bit of more variation with, you can get cooked fish meat. It makes sense. I mean, you can have regular meat and then you have fish meat. Maybe they'll have, the equivalent of like bird meat in the future for crafting once they want to split up the variation a little bit more. So they added a new weapon as well. So primitive bolas, right? I'm spelling that correctly. Those are the ones where you have pretty much rocks on the end of ropes that you spin and you try to snare somebody with it.
Yes.
So it'll root a player and a wild dino in place for 30 seconds.
So it's like a stun grenade.
Yeah, pretty much you can lock them into place.
30 seconds is a long time for locking a player. That's way too... Remember when H1Z1 had that flashbang and it was like 8 seconds? Everybody was like, oh my God, it makes the game unplayable. 30 seconds?
Now, one thing, you
Wow.
can't move, but you can still fire guns, you can shoot arrows, and you can attack people. So that does help.
So there's
Uh,
this is either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be super hard to get a hit with this to actually lock somebody down, or it's going to be like
I mean, you're
OP.
throwing somebody, so if they have a gun, it takes a lot of guts to come up to them.
It's going to be OP, or it's going to be super OP as hell, and like everybody's just going to be stuck to the map constantly.
Yeah, and you can get this at level 9, or actually level 10. I'm sorry.
Wow.
So you can get this at level 10. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how people use this in the game. It's nice when they throw something like this in, and then you see what the players actually do with it. You know,
Yeah.
they may not ever use it, but it could be something pretty cool. They added a Megapithecus arena. So this is going to be, and that's the giant. I think he's the giant, like ape-looking guy. So this is a big arena where it's kind of like a boss that you can go in and fight. So. It says he's an oversized modern day gorilla.
That's exactly what he looks like.
Yes. So, and it's to the north. So if you go to its freezing lair in the north, so in the snow area, you can go there and fight this.
Yeah, this is survival of the fittest. Gravity Beard is saying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's a boss. No, it's in survival evolved. So originally in the survival of the fittest, it can be tamed and ridden. Along with the Broodmother and Dragon, but now it has it in Survival Evolved as well. So because they added the boss arenas to it.
Cool.
So this is also in there now. So this would be a fun thing. At some point, we could get it on a Friday night, everybody to go into Ark and go try just attacking one of these bosses.
Yeah, with the primitive, with just stones and picks and stuff, we all get in there.
So,
I'm sure that would work out very well, Brian.
Yeah. And so one difference they did is they added the option to disable melee camera swings. So in the head wobble when you're harvesting,
Gotcha.
and then they put in tribe member rankings with customizable per rank privileges. So now you can go in there and say this person is, I guess, the equivalent of an officer. This is a person who's a regular, and then give them specific things that they can do. Because before it was pretty much
you can exactly, you can do everything or you can do nothing. Which is a real security issue if you want to have like we had a super open group. Like pretty much if you played with us for like 2 days, you had access to demolish everything we have or steal anything you want. So that was
and that was a big issue. You couldn't have an intro level of all right, you're new to the clan or the tribe, whatever you want to call it. Let's go ahead and if we add you in, all right, here's everything.
Yeah, exactly. Take whatever you'd like.
This will probably make it so that people are a little more likely to let you come into their tribe.
Yeah, and because we weren't really playing we were playing super hardcore, but we weren't really I don't know, we didn't really care. We wanted to play with our community. We didn't care, but like these bigger groups that have been spending, how long has this game been out? Like 9 months now? You know, they've invested 9 months.
There's people that had a lot more to lose than we did.
Yeah, totally. So should be good for them. Hopefully it'll get people, new people. I still feel like getting into this game right now, you're kind of SOL. Yeah. Unless you have a really
because
big
either
group.
You're in one of those huge tribes or you're not. And getting into one of those huge tribes is a huge process. So
this could, like you said, simplify that. And
it could make it so that these big tribes are willing to bring people in.
Yeah.
Is one thing. So, all right. Now 240.1. So this was on May 5th that they put this out. So 5 days ago. I guess the Ebola was damaging people through spiked walls, so they fixed that. They fixed the Ebola. It was the mesh. Something was wrong with the graphic for it. They fixed fish meat not cooking in the pre-240 campfires and grills. So I guess maybe if you had a campfire and grill that you actually placed before patch 240, they wouldn't cook this meat.
Gotcha.
They fixed harvesting salmon with a sickle. So a sickle will yield high quantities of prime meat. So if you use a sickle when you're harvesting that, it should give you more than if you're just using an axe or something like that. And then they fixed the arthropleura, right? Not being able to fit through, cave gates. So there was something with the collision size, which means it was either too wide or too tall to be able to fit through the gates properly. So they fixed that.
Now, that's the thing I gotta say. I'm gonna get real quickly here with this little tangent. This is the thing I love about Ark. On May 4th, they introduced the Arthropleura, and then on May 5th, just one day, not even a full day later, they put in a fix that allowed it to fit through caves and gates. It reduced the collision size. Like that. The day after they introduced this object, or this creature, there was already a bug, and it was already tested, patched, and then
they've
out
already
to
put a fix for it.
Exactly.
So that's pretty
Instantly. And that's really the way when you have this. Is this Ark's an alpha? Yeah. Is it an alpha or beta? I'm pretty sure it's an alpha.
I think they're still calling it alpha, but it's coming up to full release here not too long.
Part of the thing in alpha is that when there's a bug, fixing it, when a game is in final release, you don't fix every bug right away. Like when a Call of Duty is out, they don't release patches unless it's a major patch. Because they're
usually not game-breaking bugs, and these aren't even game-breaking bugs. But at least they're responsive to say, "Hey, this is at least this is an issue. We want to know. We want you to move on and be willing to test it." Because the problem is if they don't fix them quickly, people just will say, "Oh, that's not something I want to use," and they won't use it. It'll never get
tested. Nobody will ever use it.
Yeah, people will be like, "Oh, that's broken." They'll just assume it's broken and they'll not use it. So if you fix it quickly, it actually has a chance to being a major feature.
Exactly. So I just love I just love the fact that they can introduce a new creature, very quickly be able to identify that there's a bug, and then right after that roll out a patch to people. I really, really like that about Ark.
Now, okay, so 240.2, and this was on the 5th, so right away again, they reduced the Megapithecus shake. So it was shaking too much, the ground, probably making it hard to even run around it. Kind of like probably what we run into with the Giga.
Yeah, with the Giga, like impossible
if you're
to
walking
move.
around the Giga, the thing just shakes the ground and it's hard to focus. So with the Arthropleura, there was an issue with riding on the elevators, and then they fixed a lighting issue that was causing a crash. Another thing they did is fish should no longer get knocked back so much when dying, because sometimes you'll kill something
and
it flies
across the lake. Yeah, that was an issue when we were playing. Or you would die in the water, and bye would go your body.
So, and then another thing is you can no longer pet a dead or unconscious baby Listros, which I don't know.
I don't know what the hell that even means, to be honest with you.
I don't know if they mean by tame, or I don't remember you petting an animal in
No, neither
Ark.
do I.
But I'm sure there's something to do with that. Okay. And then Arthropleura can be ridden when swimming, and it has reduced the damage knockback for that. So that was 240.2.
And then 243
was the day later.
Yeah, same day, the 6th.
No, the 5th. The 242
I'm sorry.
was the 5th.
The 5th, I'm sorry.
This is 6th. The next day. They've pretty much been putting a patch out each day.
Yeah. So this is
two a day.
This is 243, released on May 6th. And this reduced about 150 megabytes more shader memory, also improved loading speeds. That has been something that they've been kind of nailing down for the last month or so. I'm probably even longer than 2 months.
What was one of the original complaints about Ark?
The issue was, unless you had it on an SSD, you'd launch the game, go get something to drink, go to the bathroom, come back, and then you would finally be launched. And it would take 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, no, and that's not even an exaggeration.
Yeah,
you could get up.
Take 4 minutes.
Yeah, it would take 3 or 4 minutes to load into the server. So that was like a real issue, and it seems like what did they did something that reduced it by like 50%, and now they're just kind of
they've been
hammering
pretty
away.
Consistent. Like they'll do 10% here, 20% there, and that's one thing that they have done to really bring it down, because we used to have those just lag spikes, and that was something that was lag spike. It would be a constant complaint, and how long, I played it, and I haven't seen that lately.
Yeah, I really haven't played it, so I'm not a great.
See, I've gone in and played, and I haven't seen those lag spikes. So I think enough of them knocking it down has made it to where it's a smooth, consistent play. So,
yeah. So now the other quick things on this that required a server update were fixed a long-term server timing issue. So previously, servers at greater than 2 weeks uptime would start getting wacky. So just something there with the timing that was getting screwed up. Fixed fish meat taming dinos at 2x speed. Now it's the same rate as regular meat, even though it provides half as much food. So the fish meat was taming dinos at 2x speed, when it should have been almost the same as regular meat. So they fixed that. Fished issues, I think that should be fixed.
It should be fixed. Yeah, they're thinking of fish.
Yeah, fixed issues with gorilla teleporters potentially getting overlapped. That's been fixed. And then made the boss arena reset immediately if there are no remaining players within them. There was probably an issue with stuff
like
being...
you could run in.
Run in at
after
the end.
Yeah,
exactly. So you would if you get it down to half health, somebody else could run in and do that. So now it's an instant reset of that boss. So that's 240.3, and then we've also got 240.4 here. This was on May 7th. This is another quick one. So this was an unprovisioned hotfix, fixed shader crash that was occurring with some mods. In the 6th, they did something with the shaders that was probably introducing this crash, but that was fixed the day after, so not an issue. Fixed a performance issue with the Arthroplura physics. Recommend server update for those better performances. And then reduced another 50 megabytes of unused render target memory. So that's 200 megabytes of stuff that they fixed up in 2 days. 2 days that they.
And that's the thing with this. This thing has a lot of graphics, so they're using pretty much every bit that your graphics card has.
Yeah, exactly.
So for them, 50 megabytes, that's something they can use somewhere else, and they'll actually use it in this game. Yeah. So
and then 240.5, another short one here. This also required a server update.
And this was the next day once again.
Yes, exactly. The next day.
So every day they're putting out an update.
This is back to what it was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. There was a patch every day of the week. This added a 10-second grace period after being released from the bola, which is the new, which is that new
the leg
thing that sticks you into the ground. So there's a grace period after you're being released where you can't be bolted again. So pretty much you could get somebody could keep you in a loop where every time you're out of the bola, they just re-bola you and you're kind of screwed. Yeah. That's been added. The Gigasaurus attack knocks down trees now. I don't remember that ever. I guess it never did really knock down trees. It just kind of destroyed other stuff.
It knocks down trees, but they must have forgot to put in the code that
for the
when
attack,
it attacks, that it actually knocks
Which
down
nobody
a tree,
would attack. So. Nobody would use a Giga to knock down a tree. That's very, very ineffective. But
this, but if you're running around, you could probably try to hide behind a tree to not take so much damage from a Giga. So now the trees are going to start
disappearing
when it chases you.
Yeah, and then the Rexes. Anything up to 550 drag weight can now be brought into the boss arena.
Boss arenas?
So anything with up to 550 in drag weight can now be brought into the boss arena. So that was 240.5. And then 240.6, another quick one. Fix the teleport max drug weight to allow Rexes for real. So that was a kind of an addition. This is on the same. This is on the same day.
They must have realized that first one didn't actually fix it. They probably messed up in the code.
So the same day, that fixed that. Then fixed an issue where unconscious wild passive tames were unable to take damage on PvE. So now those passive tames will take damage on PvE. And then fixed an issue where meat would not cook in certain mods. So now that has been released, and you are now up to date with 240.6, which was released Sunday.
So now they're going to keep on doing these minor releases. So I was kind of wondering, because they've changed up how they've done patches a little bit. Now they're putting in there like 241 as ETA is May 30th. And I was thinking, well, what are they not going to put out patches until May 30th? What they're doing is all these minor, that's just their next major patch. Yeah. So as you can see, they've been putting out patches consistently. So they'll keep doing everything through 240. And then they're expecting here in 20 days to do a new major patch, where they're going to be adding like a dragon arena and a new, updating some of the biomes. So then this will be interesting. This is the first I've heard about this. So they're doing a snow extension and a new redwood forest. So they said it's going to be a new major environmental overhaul. So does this maybe mean a server wipe, or are they just going to be wiping certain areas of the server, since they are changing the whole map? They're changing portions of the map.
There's no way that they'll do a server wipe without announcing it. Well, I don't know. Server wipes are tricky.
The swamps, they just cleared out areas of the swamp.
Yeah, but a redwood forest is a big. That's going to presumably be a big chunk.
If you have a base where the redwood forest is going to be,
there
will be things in the way. Yeah, they're going to have to clear them. So
they're going to clear that.
News, some big bases.
Well, so this is where stuff gets interesting. There is and we saw this with H1Z, when there is a benefit and a disadvantage to announcing a wipe before you do it. And when you announce a wipe, you instantly people stop playing, because there's no reason to continue grinding and gaining stuff if you know it's all going to be gone and in this case it would be 20 days from now.
Yeah.
I would imagine with Ark they would announce a full server wipe. But I don't. But no, I think you're right, Brian. That's going to adding a new forest.
I think
is going to be a big error.
They're going to have bases that are in that area are going to be wiped out.
Oh, the bases will be wiped, definitely.
Yeah, I think you'll keep all your stuff. But I mean, imagine if you have a base in that area,
like half of your bases in that area.
Yeah, they'll just pretty much level it.
Well, then they said new extension. They'll say, hey,
this area. They said snow extension. So I'm thinking maybe they were going to increase the amount of snow area.
Okay.
That's what they just said, snow extension. So I mean, because they already have snow, so maybe they're making it a bigger area.
Okay.
Which the snow area is pretty big already. So I don't know why they're saying that.
Yeah, and then
there's some other things coming out, but those are some pretty big ones that I saw. And
we're also getting reports right now of there was a 16 megabyte test server patch, test server update, which if there's any details out between now and the end of the show, we'll bring them to you. But that's Ark.
Now, speaking of H1Z1,
yes, this was a very interesting week. There was a producer update this week, which
now this is for King of the Kill.
This is King of the Kill, but I think that this producer update can go both ways. With most of these, it's two different development teams, but it's the same. I don't know. The producer updates normally it's a two-way street. Pretty much everything that they're introducing for King of the Kill is going to Just Survive and vice versa. Everything with Just Survive is going to King of the Kill. So there's two pretty big things in here. Actually, three really big things in here. This whole update is pretty big. So they are adding a new. What they're doing is they're adding a new weekend game type, and it started May 6th. So they announced this after last week's show, so we couldn't take part in last weekend's. So they're calling. So it's that idea of the varying rule sets where they're going to be testing stuff out, and it's called skirmishes, and.
Skirmishes,
right? Skirmishes? Yeah, whatever.
You said skirmishes the first time.
I'm sorry. So pretty much you'll see that on the server selection list, and they'll be run every weekend. So they'll run they'll run Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then they'll be off for the rest of the week. And that's going to go through May. They're going to do that every weekend in May. And they're just going to be pretty much adding rule sets and doing cool stuff like that. So the first rule set going up last weekend was the small arms rule set, which is really cool. So this means no ARs, AKs, shotguns, or hunting rifles, just pistols, crossbows, and bows. That's really, really cool. This is something super
we suggested a long time ago.
Did we? I don't know. Maybe
why
you
don't you have a game mode? No, I know I did. I said they should have a game mode where it's only maybe melee weapons. They should have a game mode that's only, melee weapons and bows and arrows. Like that would add so much, and you could even have it be random or ones that people pick.
Yeah.
Make it so that people start around a certain city. I mean, there's so many things you could do with this that they haven't been taking advantage of. So hopefully this is kind of the start of them making it to where there's a little bit more to PvP. Yeah. A little bit more to these BRs.
Exactly. So they're going to be pretty much doing those every weekend through May. So there'll be another one this weekend. And they said that look for airdrops. Now there'll be some new skins you can obtain only through airdrops, which we saw when they did that event. I don't even remember what the event was now, where the skins came through the airdrops. And they came in every single airdrop, which made it like it was supposed to be some super rare item, and they kind of screwed that up.
Yeah.
So other than that, this next one is important, and the next one's even more important. Scoped weapons. So if you aim while equipped with a scoped weapon, so if you have a 308 hunting rifle, if you have a 308 hunting rifle, the AK, the AR, pretty much anything with a scope.
Only the 308, right?
No,
they don't have scopes. They have rails.
I don't know what they're classifying as
scopes.
scopes.
The sights. No, the scope has to be the one where you go into the
iron
actual
sights.
circle.
So I guess
iron sights don't count.
Okay,
so it's only the scope.
So then I guess just the 308.
So right now, and maybe this is a hint that they're going to add more scope
so
weapons
you will
later.
be forced into first person while looking down the scope, because what you can do with the 308 is you just zoom. So
Right
your
now,
whole
you can right click and it just shows.
Well, exactly.
You can pretty much
Your
fire it.
perspective is like this, and then when you scope in, it just kind of narrows it down. It doesn't scope it; it just zooms. It's like looking through in the crossbow, because that has a scope as well. It's like looking through binoculars, but with your guns. But now it's going to force you into the first-person scoped mode, where you'll just have your little reticle, and the rest of the screen will be black. That's super important because this takes away the long-range balance issue, where you can pretty much follow somebody with a 308 the whole time, not scoped in, and then whenever you're ready, you press T to scope into first person, and then you just kill them. So
it makes you pretty much commit.
Exactly. Well, it makes you commit. Exactly.
Because you lose, you get kind of tunnel vision looking at that.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's just one little area. If there's multiple people, you're not may not be able to keep track of all of them. So that's a pretty big deal, which I don't think people are. I didn't see a lot of talk about that. That's a really big deal. And then this next one, Brian, I've got to give you credit because you said this about 1,000 times. So this is start of matches. This is just for King of the Kill only. So this will take a couple of weeks to get caught up on the live environment. So all players will begin the match at the same time. It will no longer depend on the how fast your internet is, how fast your graphics card is, if you're playing on an SSD versus a hard drive, are you running Windows 10 or Windows 7. So on and so forth. That's not going to matter. Everybody will load into the game at the same time now.
I kept saying, why don't they have a little timer? It could be a 10-second timer even in the air.
Yeah.
Just wait. Let everybody load in.
Yeah, exactly. So
if they're not at that point where they can load in, kick them out of the match because they shouldn't be parachuting in late.
That's the thing. So players will be held until everyone is loaded in. There's a few issues here I see. The first one being, when you get caught in the loading screen before a lobby, you never spawn in. So is that BR ever going to start? There needs to be some type of error handling.
I think what they'll do is they'll give you a reasonable amount of time to load in.
I would hope so.
This should be how they do it. And then if you're not in by then, kick them out to reload into a game, because either there's a connection issue. Because so there's people that when the smoke has started, which is pretty decent distance into the game.
The smoke, the smoke is at that point
it's coming
5 minutes
and
into the game.
People are finally parachuting into the game. I mean, imagine if you were doing that on purpose, because it is, in a way, a little way to get in and guarantee you're at least making it that far in the match.
Exactly. So this is huge news for the BRs not the BRs, King of the Kills. So now there is no longer like this constantly comes up where you're like, my God, how is somebody already in this house and loading up guns and killing me when I fall to the ground? Like, how the hell is that possible? That's not going to be possible anymore. The only issue I see is that there's not enough error handling for players that get stuck, have a connection issue, or something else. I remember when we played 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, one of the games I got stuck in the loading screen before we spawned in. So that
there'll
that's
still
a big
be
deal.
the beginning start area, which I've said, why don't they?
Which I've gotten into that before. So I got into that, and then I froze between that and.
But they should be
falling.
making it to where it's seamless to get into that area.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very small area. If they do have it, which, why is there? Okay, here's a little bit of programming rant. If the map for the BR starting area is really up in the upper left corner, that means they're already loading the whole map, right?
Yeah.
At that point. Then why is there such a delay going into the airdrop scene where you're going to the parachutes? Because you've already loaded the map.
Well,
it shouldn't take that
I don't
long.
I don't think you actually load the map. I think you load that one little chunk and then.
I think it's up in the corner though.
It is up in the corner. No, you're right. It is up because if you get
what
off
I'm
to the
saying is,
side,
why is there such a delay? Like, that's the time of going into that area. That should be the map loading sequence.
Yeah.
Then why does it take so long for some people to go into the actual parachute drop? Because you were already there. It should be
you're already in the map. Exactly.
It'd be exactly the same as porting from there to them porting up in the sky, which, hackers you've seen do it instantly.
Yeah.
Why does it take 30 seconds sometimes for people to load in?
Exactly. So this should be a vast improvement for the game. It'll take a couple of weeks to they say cascade up to the live environment, which means the cascade indicates that they're going to be doing a lot of internal QC testing. That's what when I think of cascade, I think of a bunch of different tracks all the way up to the top.
I would think that they're going to be implementing it in pieces. Have it not be something that's instant. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
I assume that they're going to be putting it in parts. So we'll see how they do that. It'll be interesting to see if they pull this off.
It will be very interesting, and I'm pretty excited for that. So that's coming to King of the Kill. And then just a few other recent bug fixes. This one doesn't make any sense. I'm going to read it verbatim. Bombing run tuning so the area is not filled with bombs. So what area?
Maybe this was the complaint that I did a couple weeks ago about...
Well, because when we played, the last game I played was I was playing with Falcon and somebody else. I'm sorry, the other person. But the reason I remember Falcon is because he got double hit with these bombing runs and it killed him. And we were in the last 3 or 4 teams in a 5-man BR, and it was me, Falcon, and one other person. So. I think it was PHVCK. Yeah, he's saying wow. Sorry. But Falcon got hit with one and it brought him down to 30% health. And then 15 seconds later, before he had time to heal back up, got hit with another one. So I'm sorry, PHVCK. I really am. You weren't an important part of the story.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gone.
Sorry.
Anymore.
So, but the stuff and then you got killed. God, this must have been 6 months ago, Brian. Yeah. We were doing a 2-man and you got killed.
We were actually standing right next to each other.
Yeah, you were standing right next to each other.
Landed directly on my head.
Exactly.
Killed me instantly.
Yeah. So it was just so stupid. So that has been fixed, but it says it's not filling the air
filled with bombs.
But what area?
The area is not filled with bombs.
What area? Is there a radius?
No, that's the thing.
What's the area? Because if it just doesn't make any sense. Bombing run tuning so the area is not filled with bombs. The area being the green zone. Because if it's not the green zone, it doesn't matter. Nobody's outside the
Maybe
green
what
zone.
they're saying is, how they do bombing runs and it pretty much goes in a line?
Yeah.
Maybe they're having it where the bombs are actually spread out and dropping rather than it just being solid bombs the whole way.
Well, a bombing run is solid bombs. If you've ever seen a World War II bombing run.
They didn't explain it.
No, it doesn't make any sense. So all I can take away is that hopefully you will no longer be killed by random. They're not even random, just bombs when you're doing perfectly fine in a BR or in a King of the Kill, because it's really beyond stupid that stuff kills you. So there's a few other quick little notes on here. Combat improvements, ongoing changes to hit registration, which is huge. Bullet patterns and bugs, that's always important. Accuracy when shooting while jumping has been nerfed. So you'll be inaccurate if you try to fire while in the middle of a jump, so no more, or trick shots, I guess, should be a little bit. Not that trick shotting was ever big in H1Z1, but trick shotting should not be as easy as it once was. Now you'll be a little more inaccurate. Mouse wheel fixes for spectator modes, audio improvements for weapons and bullets, as well as improved balance of the sound mix.
Now, spectator modes. So is this for the ones where pretty much people that have their own server spectator?
Yeah, there is already. That's what
there is for that.
Yeah, there is. It's for their spectator.
Release that spectator for regular games soon, because that would make the people willing to stream it on Twitch here more likely.
So, we're doing good on time. The spectator. This is my thoughts on the spectator stuff. If they introduce spectator into King of the Kills, and there is 5 of us, and Brian, you die, and there's one guy outside the house, if you can go into spectator mode, it's pretty much ghosting. I don't know how. There needs to be, maybe some type of cooldown.
You'd have to be in that group to spectate that.
I get that.
Spectate your own players. That's it.
They need to figure it out.
Spectate your own players.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You die, because you're only in it as long as your team is. So the second that you die,
as long as it's not a free
you can jump
roam
between people that are in your group.
Okay.
No, you can't free roam. You can't spectate anyone else. Only spectate other people in your own group. Okay. So that, let's say you and I are playing in a 2-man. If I die in the first, at the first house in the first 5 minutes, then I can switch to your camera and we can keep streaming on Twitch. The problem is right now, either I have to leave your group or I have to sit at that death screen for the next 10 minutes while you're finishing your game out.
Okay. Yeah. As long as it's not super.
Yeah, they could even do, as you
OP.
said, first person only. Blood Core saying first person only. That way, they're not looking around. But it'd be a lot more difficult sitting there trying to figure out what camera angle the other player is using. That'd be a lot more data. But maybe just say you can see their first person view.
That would be fine. Like what Bloodcore's saying, that is perfect because with third person, you can kind of edge out the
Especially
walls
if you're
and
scoping
stuff.
and saying in TeamSpeak, hey, behind you. If you can swing that camera around and look for them, that would add a huge
It would exactly
imbalance to the game.
It would be a huge imbalance. So it should literally be a stream of what they are doing. Like it should just be their stream just sent to you. So it should be exactly what they're doing. And then the last thing in here is fixed to the double melee bug. Just Survive. Players can take note of this one as it was really detracting from the Just Survive experience. So a lot of big stuff in that patch. By the way, I just thought about this. That inaccuracy when you jump, that means so that you can't, if you see somebody like AFK and you have to jump over a wall, you can jump like 5 or 10 times and line up the shot and then jump and shoot. That's going to make so you're much less inaccurate, which is something I'm pretty sure we used to do. We were kind of like, you could jump and if you jumped enough times, you could jump and kind of nail a shot pretty reliably.
Yeah.
So that's that is
so that's the producers.
It's a very good producers update. Almost kind of this is coming off the coattails of the Z2 one, I think that was last week.
Yeah.
Or maybe the week before. So a lot of good stuff.
Now, one thing I wanted to mention here is H1Z1DB, who has a website.
No, this is not. This is not. I don't think.
Is this not his?
I'm not sure. I don't think it is.
It might not be. Actually,
it's not.
It probably isn't because
no, it isn't.
It's
it's
just
a
called
different
H1Z1DB.
Yeah, it's a different.
But if you look at his
thing.
support site, it's someone else. So,
exactly. It's not H1Z1DB. I thought.
Okay, so it's not H1Z1DB, but this is an iPhone app that lets you pretty much look up different assets. This is available also on H1Z1DB's website to be able to do something like this. But you can go see, all right, what are the different assets in here? What's it take to make it? So that you, on your phone, without having, maybe you only have one monitor when you play.
Yeah.
This helps you to be able to, on a phone or a tablet, look and see what items there are. That way you don't have to alt tab out. So.
Exactly. This is what, like, that piece of paper everybody, like, I don't know about you, but I used to have like there was like somebody made some clan made a PDF of like all the objects and like what they cost and everything like that. I used to have that printed out and tacked up on the wall. So I'd be over there kind of like looking at it. But now with this, you can, and Stairwave says he's used it before. And they are just working together now. So is that, so H1Z1DB and I guess this guy are working together maybe. So,
okay.
Cool.
Maybe because he might be accessing the database from, because I know that he does a lot of database work like that. So.
Yeah, there you go. So awesome. And
now this next one.
Yeah. Somebody tweeted some like sarcastic. Let me pull up the tweet. Somebody tweeted me some really sarcastic tweet. Well, first, here, go ahead and announce what this thing is, and let me find this.
All right,
tweet,
so this is
pretty funny.
Daybreak is now accepting applications for the 2016 Gamers in Real Life Scholarships. So,
IRL, yes.
Yeah. So now one thing, I didn't see it in here, but if you look, they're all girls, right?
Wow, I didn't even realize that.
Okay, and then the initials Gamers in Real Life is GIRLS, so girls. So I'm assuming you have to be a female to win this because they're all girls.
Didn't even realize.
And its initials are girls.
What's the rules?
I don't see it in there where it said girls.
FAQ. It doesn't mention any.
It doesn't mention that you have to be a girl, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. That
coincidence? I think
initials
not.
Is girls, and the only people that have won it are girls. So I mean, we could apply. But I really don't think we're going to win.
The Gamer Real Scholarship. Any individual who is 18 years of older at the time of entry. No, it doesn't mention anything about being
female.
It does not mention that about.
You can't tell me that when the initials is GIRLS and they're all females that have won in 2011, 9, 11, and 12, that it's not girls.
It doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that. That's the thing. It doesn't say it. But
I mean, come on. This is like let me do a control F for the word girl. or female and see if I can find anything.
Maybe they're trying to be sensitive.
No, they say the acronym. That's the only mention.
Yeah, I looked at that and I'm like, I didn't see it anywhere.
Female. No, there's no reference to the word male.
They don't say
female.
they actually have to be a female, but they've never given it out to a guy. And those initials are just, that can't be chance. Come on. Can't be.
I mean, I don't even know what to.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say there, Brian. It's just what a conspiracy.
I guess we can all apply. You and I are to college, so let's.
Yeah. Wow, you really I wasn't even gonna go there. So pretty much what the scholarship is it's a scholar. I'm gonna say it's a scholarship for. It's a scholarship. Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. The $10,000 scholarship towards tuition, room and board, other educational expenses at the winner's college or university. So you'll be able to, you can register for that. You can go to daybreakgames.com/scholarship. And this is like a real deal scholarship. This isn't some like BS, like, oh, we're going to write you like a $500 check and we'll mail it to you and then do whatever, you want with it. This is like a real deal. Like it's on Scholarship Apply, which is like a real deal scholarship site. For getting like real scholarships of America. So it's a real deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a fake thing.
No, but it's like
they would put in the rules somewhere.
Yeah, I guess if you identify as a girl,
female.
I mean, I guess I could identify as a girl and enter.
I guess then maybe that's why they're really being safe on this. We'll take anybody's application.
Yeah. So I want Gravity tweeted me and said, "Hey Nick, do you want a job for your most favorite game?" And tweeted me the link to that. So I just thought, thank you, Gravity. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and then you're given an opportunity to be hired as a paid intern for up to 8 weeks at DGC.
So that's pretty much, they're giving you a chance to see if you're a total loser. And if
Brian, stop. It's a scholarship. Jesus, let it go. It's a scholarship.
About the paid internship, that's why he says, so it's only up to 8 weeks. It's not starting at 8 weeks.
No. It's up to 8 weeks.
If after 1 week you're just such a horrible person there, they're like, we got to get you out of here. So that's what they say.
Yeah.
Up. You could say maybe up to 2 months.
Hitting a kegerator, hitting their server kegerator a little too many times.
Yeah, you're like, I'm hitting the kegerator server.
Yeah, exactly. The entire time playing some EQ99.
Can I go to the training room and play some games?
Yeah. So, well, now Falcon says that's the only way of getting motivated talent into the company cheap.
Oh,
wow. $10,000 is an expensive way to get people into the company, because then they have to put you up in a hotel. Well, no, actually, it doesn't say that.
You can stay at some of their houses, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure Adam would love.
There's some lonely programmers that would love girls sponsorship.
And Brian, stop.
Okay, that's too far.
Yeah, way too far.
Inappropriate.
Control yourself, man. What the hell's your problem? You can read daybreak.com/scholarship. Control yourself.
And they're also hiring if you're interested in.
Yeah, they're hiring a bunch of people. Jeez.
Now here's something that they started doing is community outbreak. So I wasn't sure because they didn't really express what it was.
Yeah, and this was just kind of like off the cuff, like no notice for this.
Yeah. So this is something they just started streaming, and they pretty much ran around in Just Survive. Because I had it muted, but I was watching what they were doing.
You're watching this chaos?
Yes, and this was pretty much what it was. I was just like, what in the world? This was it. They ran around, and just people were everywhere. And people were randomly getting killed. It's just pretty much a let's run around and be with the community type of a...
Which, and Greg is on the screen here. Greg is their community manager. He's like he's the PR. So this is good. This
And then Ryan Findall, he's their quality assurance analyst.
Yes. So they've got
he was with them as well.
This is I'm sure like they're active on Reddit, but they're not really socially active. They tweet like every once in a while, but it's normally just updates. This is a great way for them to be super social. Greg was in the test server last week, and a few of us, we're talking to him and hanging around. So they're doing that. They're doing this community outbreak. This is all just cool, like PR building stuff that they're doing. So that's the Community Outbreak program. Or it's not even a program. It's just they're just doing like a one-time thing there. So the next thing, this is
more things to spend your money on.
Okay, so the parachute, we saw a new parachute animation. The current parachutes are like a domed object with some strings coming down, and there is no variation in it. It is just a solid block, and there's no movement. We did see 2 weeks ago with the art update, this new parachute. It kind of waves in the wind a little bit. You land a little bit nicer. New animations with the parachute,
since they put in that work, because that's the work. That was the hard part.
Yes, was the actual animation.
This is
the
what
easy
takes
part.
them like 30 seconds to 10 minutes.
Go ahead,
to do.
Brian. Bring it home.
All right, so they added pretty much a camo skin. So it's like, all right, texture to this camo. They added a red, white, and blue.
God bless.
With stars on it.
It's kind of the
and
American
then they added,
flag,
of course,
but
the Daybreak logo.
Oh yes, with the eye, which is cool. I really like their logo with the gear, with the sun breaking over the. It's kind of. A cool concept.
They could finish 100 of these things in a day if they really wanted to.
Yeah, this one I love. It's like the knockoff, like American flag. Like if you were to make an American flag at your house, this is kind of what the result would be.
Falcon says the next crate is going to be a circus. Oh, I wish I had that link. Someone sent me a link of someone wearing all of the latest skins, and it just is a train wreck.
No.
Nothing matches. I wish I had that. I mean, if somebody has that link from when we were playing, if you could put it in chat, it was.
Yeah, where's the one with the infection logo? I don't know. That one seemed the infection logo always seems to miss out. Our big circular logo that Landgun made. This let's see, where is it? This guy right here. That would look pretty sick on a parachute. Come on.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's
all right. So that's pretty much H1Z1. I didn't see anything else, and I haven't heard anything about the latest small patch they did, but that might have been some bug fixes. So they haven't put any official announcement out.
Now we have our first game giveaway, Brian, and
yes.
What are we giving away here right now?
Should we do the smaller one first?
Yeah. Let's do that one first.
Okay, so let me actually pull it up. I didn't have it in my notes, but this is one that actually has it's Thomas Was Alone is the name of the game.
Okay.
And so let me get the rule started on it first. So, and this will of course all be lowercase because we can't, for some reason, in this program type uppercase. So just put alone, all lowercase, ALONE.
Okay.
And Thomas is Alone is one thing it's very simple looking game, but if you look at it, like. It doesn't look that much, but the voice acting and the narration that goes along with this game just pulled everybody in because it's a really famous guy who narrates this and just it pulls you in through this whole story. It's a very good game. If you haven't played it, if you don't have it, definitely roll for this because it's one that when I first got it, I was like, this is just going to be one of those small little games that aren't that great. But it's one that once you start playing it, you want to keep on playing. You hate to pull yourself away because he pulls you into that whole story so much.
Well, there you go. So this is
Thomas Was Alone. It's about a $10 game on Steam, but it's definitely and it's been out for a little while. So here's a link to it for the Steam store. But it's mostly if you look at it, it's very positive, overwhelmingly positive overall. Just an excellent game to play. So
awesome. So Thomas Is alone in chat and have your chance to win. Be like a radio host, like, hey, caller 9, we'll have your chance to.
Caller 9, it's your chance to win.
It's like we'll do like one of those like music mashups where you do like 13 songs, like just like a second from each song, and then you gotta guess the song. Yeah, those would be fun. At some point we need to we got to do something to switch these up a little bit. I wonder what else we can do as like giveaway criteria.
Oh, other than
just entering,
than just typing.
Yeah,
something
I wonder what we could do. Like.
Well, I mean, we tried a long time ago having people submit things, but the problem is if it's too difficult, you only get a few submissions.
Not even a few. You get maybe one or none. We'll figure something out. Just something to kind of maybe like once every few weeks.
Well, one thing also, if you have any ideas and you're like, well, they should do this, email us.
Yes, email us. We've been getting a
Because
lot of.
we're definitely open to ideas. So.
We've been getting a lot of emails. And I know everybody says like, oh yeah, God, lots of emails on the show. We're actually getting like a lot of emails, different
Not
things. No, like this is like the real deal. This time we're actually getting emails from people with ideas and stuff like that. So, we want to thank everybody for that. Why not do an event in game? We did do one on Friday. We gave away a copy of H2O, but
so yeah, that is one thing we did this last Friday for people that were playing in TeamSpeak. We did a giveaway. Maybe what we could do is have everybody be in the stream and do it on the stream instead. That would be a good thing if we get if we get enough people watching.
Yeah, the thing that was awesome in TeamSpeak was, and this was actually from Ross Eraser. He works Tuesday nights during the show, as I'm sure like many other people, they are either working or unable to watch live. So he's like, hey, you should give away a game on Friday nights. So we got 5 copies of H2O. We're giving away 2 more later on. So we had 1 copy that wasn't fitting into our schedule. So I told everybody to throw a number between 1 and 100 in the chat, and I went to random.org and generated a random number. And I thought it worked out very well. It was nice and easy. People could quickly type in something in TeamSpeak, and that worked out. So when there's an opportunity to do stuff like that, we'll definitely do that, because I know everybody can't be here and watch live. But alone in chat, thanks. Yeah, Nisco, you can enter right now. You'll have a great chance of winning. As he enters 55 into the chat. Now, you threw something in here for Miscreated.
Yes.
And this is a dev response.
This is that thing that I've been talking about
Go ahead.
Quite a bit lately. So this is the whole relevance. So they actually did a test this past week for the relevance system. And then for those that either don't remember or aren't sure, relevance is where when you're on the server, only people that are around you, let's say line of sight or within a certain range, they are the only ones that need to know about you or what maybe items you're carrying, what items you have on you as far as clothing, what gun you have. So this system, rather than sending all of your information to every single person on the server, it says, are you relevant to me? If you're not relevant to me, do not send information to that person. This cuts down on the bandwidth by a huge amount. So they were doing a test here with 50 different players. And so they found that the amount of bandwidth was very minor. So this is something that once they said there was about 3 things they still need to get worked out from the test. Once they get those things worked out, this will be implemented into the game. It'll make a huge difference because they'll have storage at that point. So the storage containers to put in your bases, when you kill a zombie or you kill a player, rather than having to loot items on the ground, like you can actually loot the zombie. They'll have storage, I guess in themselves as well. It makes it so that they can keep items. Like let's say you do die. Right now they have it because they don't want a heavily populated server littering. People die a whole bunch of times in a row. All those items are being transmitted constantly right now across the whole map. It could cause a lot of lag. So they have it to where only I think 3 or 4 of the last deaths actually stay. So if people are dying quickly, your loot bag will disappear really quickly. So little things like this is going to make it for people maybe that have slow internet that have played Miscreated and say, man, it lags for me or get disconnected. This is going to be using about 5% of the bandwidth that it currently uses in the normal one that you download right now. So maybe someone who has a slower internet connection, they'll be able to play on higher population servers without it having being a large problem. So this is going to be a huge amount. I think this is going to be the thing that allows them to do so much more, because people have said this is a beautiful game, but there's these other aspects that keep me from playing it. This is probably a big portion of those other things that have been holding people back from playing this game.
Yeah, I mean, not having a chest system or some type of storage system.
There's no point in bases. I mean, what's the point of a base if you can't stick anything in it?
Exactly. It makes it one of those things where it becomes kind of like instanced. Like, since you can't store anything, it's just kind of you play until you die, and then once you die, you're like, oh, well, maybe in a few weeks or something like that. Because there's nothing really to... There's no... I don't want to say end game, because that's not an end game, but there's no reoccurring, there's no reoccurring incentive Like once
Yeah.
you die,
Once you
can't.
die, like you're like, okay, well, I'm done. I can go back to my base and stand in there,
Yeah, but there's
but
nothing
I
in
don't get
there.
any items.
Yeah, exactly, and
So
exactly. So that is something that now this was the issue. This is a CryEngine issue, which this game is built on. If I'm correct, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, the netcode for the Crytek engine just did not suit having
it wasn't made for this. I mean,
exactly.
it
It
was
wasn't made
made
for this.
for originally it was made for a single player game. Even if they had a few extra players in it, it still wasn't made to be on a very large map where things would be possibly anywhere. I mean, it was made for single player where you went down a certain path, all the items were loaded. If you knew about an NPC at the other side, it didn't matter. Um, when they started bringing in saying, all right, we want 50, we want 100 players,
Yeah.
it added a whole bunch of extra code that they didn't have a system for. That this is CryEngine specific. If you look at Unreal, they've already accounted for this. They've coded it into the engine having a relevant system.
Yes.
If I would be surprised if they don't then go to Miscreated and say, hey, can we use your relevance code in the actual engine? Because it would, I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, this is, unless they're coming up with their own, which, why wouldn't they have told Miscreated and say, hey, you don't have to code your own system. We're coming up with one.
Yeah.
Obviously they didn't, because I know they have a close relationship with CryEngine. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that maybe they'll take this code, implement in the main engine, and maybe that's why CryEngine's been so friendly with Miscreated up to
Now,
this point.
Fat Broken Ugly makes a very valid point and says, when storage comes to Miscreated, I'll be uninstalling Just Survive. I think if there is a game that is going to not kill, but replace and do what Just Survive was going to be
What
and
people
wanted to
what
do,
people were hoping it would be.
it will. Out of all of the games that I've seen on the market, throw air quotes around the word market right now, Miscreated with the storage system could do it. Could do it. Not saying it will. It has the potential to do it, because right now, honestly, it's kind of one of those things you play for like 3 hours until you die, and then you just play it again in like 3 months.
You get frustrated because
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I have to totally start over. I mean, it's kind
So.
of a hardcore game, but sometimes you don't want to be running 90% of the time.
Exactly. So that's what's coming out from Miscreated. That is that's some big news. That's some really big news.
Let's jump ahead, because here's something that came out a little while ago, but it came out. I mean, they put some updates out today, but DayZ all of a sudden came out with a pretty major update, the
Okay.
DayZ standalone.
Okay.
And this could bring it back. You know how people have been so frustrated with DayZ?
Go for it. Let me know, because I mean, I think a lot of people own the DayZ standalone. I don't know if you do. I do, and I know a few of our other members do. So what's
so
come
so
down the
this?
pipe?
I mean, they added assault backpacks, dirt bike helmets with mouth guard and visor, slack pants, a jacket, fishing rod, reflex sights. They added a new building, so they added a radio station, radio tower, helipad, some new industrial buildings, military watch tower, ski lifts, storage shed, wooden platforms, guard house. They added some newly enterable buildings, so ones that weren't, I don't think you could go into before. So white, blue industrial building, gray, dark industrial with silos. They added a new Dean Hall infected model. So they changed how some of the zombies look. So they have some new
Dean
zombies.
Hall. Oh man, that guy. The expectations he had blew it.
Yeah.
What's his name? Rocket, I think was his name.
Yeah, Rocket.
Was that his name? Rocket. Yeah. Eesh.
Yep.
Yeah,
And so the infected now spawn with a variety of outfits. So it could be like a firefighter, a paramedic. They added 67 variants of zombies. Yeah. They added mass graves, which it says improved. So maybe they just made them look. I saw a pile of zombies, or a pile of dead bodies. And so that was that. They added new mechanics like pressing R to key now chambers around or cycles the bolt depending on which weapon you're using. I mean, I heard that this is a huge update for the maps because they added a bunch of new locations. It's just, if you go into it, they've made improvements on the engine. It's I was looking into it, and it's just everybody was going on and on about about how the map was improved. So if you have DayZ and maybe you put it down and you have the standalone one, I would encourage you to go check it out.
Yeah.
Because they've made this was like an out of nowhere huge patch that I've just seen people trying to get in and play this game. They're complaining that the servers are constantly full now.
So
it takes a long time to get in.
I just shot off while you were talking. While I wasn't paying attention, I just shot off a message to Landgun, and I told him about that and to keep him in, keep that in his, revolving thing for the game nights. So that maybe we'll do that in a few weeks. So
now I don't have standalone, but I know a lot of people do because I just.
What is the price of the DayZ standalone? I don't even know. $20 maybe. Let me see.
Yeah, with how poorly it was.
Oh, it was awful. What a colossal.
It started. I was just like, I'm not going to get this.
Oh, awful! Absolutely awful. DayZ. Oh my God! It's $40, $35.
So it's gone back.
Yeah, no, I would not recommend that for $35. I would not recommend this game for $35 under no circumstances. I don't care how good this patch is. It still would not recommend it for $35.
But if you do have it, go check it out. I mean, that's one thing. Report back to us.
Yeah, stay tuned.
We'll think of it because I've seen a lot of things on YouTube and people talking about it. What an amazing patch this was. So.
Yeah, we'll do it. Maybe in a week or two. But just keep a look on the Steam group, and you'll see when and if we're going to do that. But I'll make sure that gets there eventually. Now, this I saw this on Slick Deals today. The website. I don't know. Damn it.
The code did the price discount go away?
It did. The discount did go away. How to Survive was on sale for $1.50, and it is now back up to $15.
Oh, well, that's nice. So it was a very short amount of time.
Yeah, it was. Let me just double check. Maybe it's
a new link.
New link or something. Yeah, let me check that. It was this morning when I saw it. That's unfortunate.
Oh well.
Yeah. Well.
So if you're gonna get How to Survive, don't buy it for $15.
No, do not buy.
It's a decent game, but it's not.
It is gone.
It's not
that's a damn shame. It was literally this morning too. Like.
Yeah,
that was a pretty quick. Oh, actually, I do have something else. The Humble Bundle Monthly is out. I don't know if you've bought this one yet, but this is a big one. This is a big one for a lot of people. Rocket League is the name of the game.
So that's going to be the next one coming up at the beginning of this next month.
Well, you can get it right now for $23. It runs for the next 23 days.
That's the weird thing about this is if you say, "All right, I'm subscribing and I'm going to pay for this,"
you get it today.
Get Rocket League right away.
Yes.
Even though the rest of the games don't come out
now,
a little bit later.
Last month, the other games that came with this they all look awful.
Okay, so one game that is not bad, I don't see it on there now, is the where'd it go? Huh.
Like
That's
Jump
weird.
Jet Rex.
That one I didn't try.
Gallic Z. What a waste of $12.
Now I really like. How I really like Mad Max. For me, that one was worth it.
Yeah, it was totally worth it for you. I didn't like it. Wasn't for me.
But they didn't put it on their list of games in the front. But Oddworld: Abe's Odyssey is a pretty fun game.
How do I get my games? Do I have to log in and then I can download all my games?
Yeah, if you click at the top, Get Bundle, and then you'll be able to. It'll give you Steam codes for them.
Gotcha. Well, then I guess we'll give some games away. I got some more games to add to the giveaway.
Yep.
So. That's the Humble Bundle Monthly. You got 23 days and 16 hours to.
I'll take your How to Survive link out of the show notes. So
yeah.
$15.
I thought I was just kind of like, oh wow, look at me, I'm right on top of this.
Great thing to show, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you know, just tweet it immediately.
Well, I just thought I'd say it for the show. So.
All right.
Let's do our roll.
Let's do the giveaway now.
Yeah, let's do the giveaway. So. We'll
all right, very good. So our first winner is Ricky Bobby. So Ricky Bobby has won.
There you go.
Ricky Bobby.
What a great!
I will send you a link.
Fantastic movie.
It'll be a gift link, so you can click on it and it'll let you activate it on Steam. Congratulations.
Yes. Fantastic movie, by the way. Talladega Nights. What a
All right, so our next one is Hide and Hold Out. So they put out 2 patches, and we are going to be giving out 2 copies today, correct?
Yes, we have 2
of
more
Hide and Hold Out.
Yes. Do you have those keys
and
ready?
So
Yeah, I'll get them going.
Yeah, I'll pull that up before we do it. So hide and hold out, they did update 0.01.74. So this one, they fixed an issue that was, so when you lost your connection to the server is now set, the timeout is now set to 10 and not 30 seconds. So that way, I guess if you get disconnected, it'll actually take you out of the world a little bit faster. And it'll notice a little bit faster. The desyncs caused by the saving process on the server have been reduced, if not removed, because this was kind of a similar thing that we're talking about in Ark, where when the server would be doing certain things like saving things from the memory to maybe actually to the hard drive, it would cause desyncs, it would cause lag. So they've been working on that as well. Bandwidth usage related to the AIs has been reduced. The servers are now, they said, slightly stabler. So
slightly more stabler.
Yep. Servers should not leave the server list anymore if they're still running, because it's something where it actually has to send to the main list, place that's keeping track of all their servers. Hey, we're still here. So those were dropping off. The command server save has been added so that admins can save manually. A lot of times this is good if you're going to run an update, because you want to make sure the world is saved exactly the minute before you run an update, so you don't lose whatever was in memory if you kill the process. A panel is now displayed on the bottom left screen when the server is saving in the database, and pressing the fire button when using a weapon that is empty will now cause the reloading process if possible. So if you're firing, you don't have to hit reload. If you're out of bullets and you try to fire, it'll start reloading, which is nice.
Yeah, and then that was 7.3. Was that 7.3A or 7.3B?
No, that 1.74.
I'm sorry, that was 7.4. So this is 7.4B. And this another thing going on with the servers not leaving the server list anymore. They added the line ping limit equals 0 or 50 to 1,000 has been added to the config file and to the available command lines of the server. If the value is set to 0, then I'm not going to get into that. It's irrelevant. The command TP to player, so it's
teleport.
Yes, teleport, but it's TP player 2, not TP 2 player. So it's TP player 2 has been added so that you can teleport. You could either teleport.
Okay, so you can send another player somewhere else.
Yeah,
so
or you could send yourself.
To teleport. Well, you can do TP2 player, which will teleport you to the player, or you can say TP player 2, and so you can send someone else somewhere else.
Yes, so you can do both of those. The admin mode 4 has been added as erase mode when the mode is activated. So
you can make somebody that has the ability just to erase things.
Exactly. And
without having full admin control the server.
Hit it with a sledgehammer and it would be destroyed instantly. And then the console returns more information when switching between the admin modes. So you're not accidentally in the wrong mode and delete everything or some weird stuff going on with that. So that is hide and hold out. And we'll be giving away 2 copies of that coming up.
Yeah, do we want to start like giving the code now?
Yeah, go for it.
Because we'll run out of time here if we wait too much longer.
Go for it.
All right, so let's go ahead and for the keyword, of course, lowercase again, as I always say, just type hide. So if you type hide in chat, all lowercase, of course, that will put you in. I'll do 2 rolls in a row.
Yes. So this is the one to enter for. I love how Nisco enters hold and then PHVCK enters out.
They're coordinated.
Yeah, coordinated attacks. So that
this is done by, and we're hoping to get an interview with these guys onto the show. The guys that do hide and hold out. As we said before, their English isn't great, so we'll probably do it offline for their sake. And then, well, I mean, if I had to go do an interview in Spanish, I would be really nervous about doing it live. Well,
yeah, but English is different with that. I don't know. I feel like English is different.
Well, I mean, but they're not from the U.S.
True.
They're actually over in France. So that even if you go into some places like in Canada, there's people that don't speak a bit of English.
Yeah, but true. That's true.
So yeah, we'll get them on, hopefully onto the show. But this is something where they're putting out. They've been working on a lot of server stuff lately, which, as programmers, that's what you want to make sure the server's working perfectly. So they've been doing that the last week or so. And I bet you once they get to where they feel like the servers are ready to go, they're going to start doing a focus on content. So
yes,
keep an eye on it.
Yes, thank you very much for that. We'll roll that in a few minutes. But first, before we go any farther, of course, we've got current players. Some of these numbers I think are off. Steam does its maintenance. Steam DB was showing 0 for the current players. Then it came back up, but some of the numbers seem a little off. So we'll take the actual current players with a grain of salt. But currently playing H1Z1 combined, 9,119. Everything else, the 24-hour peak and the 7-day peak are all fine. The 24-hour peak for these games combined, 13,600, and the 7-day peak, 14,896. That's for those combined. Switching over to Just Survive, currently playing that, 3,198. The 24-hour peak for that, 4,284. And the 7-day peak, 4,876. So the 24-hour peak and the 7-day peak pretty close there. Hopping over to King of the Kill, currently playing that, 6,757. The 24-hour peak for that, 11,033. And the 7-day peak, 14,357. We'll switch over to Ark. This is Survival Evolved, currently playing that. This number is low, which is indicating that there's something going on here. 29,325. The 24-hour peak, 43,761. And the 7-day peak, 51,460. And then this is just, these numbers are all screwed up here. It should be currently playing that 989, the 24-hour peak for that 1,143, and the 7-day peak 2,085.
They're switched.
The
right now is 989.
Yes, the current player.
I forgive you.
It's all screwed up on the website. So nobody is playing Survival of the Fittest. Like less than 1,000 people are playing that. It's really, really bad.
Well, they only peak at 2,000. I mean,
for the whole week. It's a real shame.
It's a fun game. It's just, as I said, it's a difficult game.
Yeah. So it's I still am of the mindset that they are
holding off.
They're holding off. They're waiting to kind of. And I think I said this last week.
What do they have to lose? I mean, it's a free game.
Yes.
What do they really have to lose from waiting until they feel like it's totally ready?
Yeah, exactly. I think that they're going to wait to, actually do a release and kind of, hit everybody in the mouth with it and say, hey, this is our new game. Check it out. Come play it. Something, that. And I think, Brian, you mentioned giving away stuff in game.
That carries over.
Exactly.
You'll get people willing to play.
I could not agree more. So that's current players. Hopefully next week the numbers are more accurate and we're not still having those connection issues because the current players was kind of all off. So that's current players.
Yeah, very good. Well, and that's, if you have another game, so anyone who's listening, you're like, why don't they do current players on this game? As I said, email us.
Yes,
because these are the ones that are pretty active. I mean, if you look at Rust, amazing amount of players. Ark Survival Evolved, amazing amount of players. Miscreated, hopefully someday with this relevant system, we'll have an amazing amount of players.
Yeah, and I'm being serious about the email. So is Brian. Nisco posted a game in here. He's like, oh, you should talk about this. We need an email or a tweet or just something that we can reference back to. Because this chat transcript, once the
stream's gone.
Yeah, once 9 o'clock hits and I exit out of Chrome, all that stuff's gone. So there we go. So just emails, tweets, and just stuff like that.
He's saying Steam forum. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I guess. Just send us an email.
We'd be able to find it.
Just send us an email. That's the easiest way. You can. Well, can I, create a web page and text it to you and then send you a just email or Twitter. That would be great. If you want us to cover something. If not, then don't worry about it. So.
Yeah.
Brian.
Now, one thing, Joe was actually asking about the culling and just a rough. That game is very similar to Survival of the Fittest. It's only got about 1,700 players, which isn't bad, but it had such a big release that you figured it would have 5,000 people playing it. Yeah. Their 24-hour peak was 2,300.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
PHVCK is wondering about the fax number. Yes, we have got our fax
number.
Yeah,
yes, send a fax.
Ridiculous. Brian.
All right.
What do
Your
you got
favorite
first?
part of the show? Do you need to go to the bathroom or anything?
Yeah, I'll be back
How long
in.
do I need to make this?
Yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, this is where I give a tip. This is usually a survival tip,
Yes.
and it can be related to a specific game. It can be a general gaming tip. It can be related something to survival. But this is something that's been going on for now. We're not sure, not quite 69 weeks, but probably at least 60 weeks.
Yeah, it's.
I think we had it within the first 9 episodes.
Do we have any
probably,
You know, we need some.
I'd have to go back and watch like the first episodes until
We need Infection
Tip of the week.
Podcast historians to start picking it
people
up.
that have to go through and listen through
Yeah, well,
69 episodes so they can write down facts.
Well, yeah, and like all these other shows, they've got their historians.
Nick has said this word this many times.
Yes, Nick also referenced that a month is not measured in time or something like that. We need him some historians. So, are you ready for the intro here, Brian?
Yep. So this is tip of the week.
Let's hope we have audio. Here we go.
Yep. All right, so I wanted to give for this tip of the week some Ark quick tips. So these are going to be not a really long, drawn out set of tips, but these are a couple of different tips that you can use in Ark that probably most people don't know about. So one thing you can do first is with the HUD. So you'll see these different icons on your screen when you first start. If you hold down the H key, it will actually pull up a more advanced version of the HUD that has more information. It actually tells you what those things mean. So when you're playing Ark, if you're not sure, what something that's on the screen, you're not sure what it is, hold down the H key and it'll give you an advanced information HUD. Mostly it's showing you what the status effects are. So another thing you can do inside of Ark is if you hit Tab, and it'll bring up the console where you can enter information and type stat space FPS, it will show you your frames per second in game. So maybe you don't have one of the overlays or something that shows you your frames per second and you want to know what it is at this moment. Just hit Tab, type stat space FPS, and it will show you your frames per second inside of the game. Another tip that works well for inside of there, maybe on your screen the nights are too dark or maybe it's too bright. You can hit Tab and type gamma space and then a number of 1 through 9. So I think 1 would be really probably really dark and 9 really light. You have to play with it and see which one, but it'll make it go from either being really washed out or really dark. And then let's say you're playing with it and you don't remember how to get back. If you type just gamma all by itself, it'll reset it to default. So that's a good way. And gamma is, as I said, is the kind of the contrast to your screens, the light and the darks of it. And then another thing you can do is when you are placing an item inside of Ark, so let's say you're going to place a wall, there's actually a front side of a wall and a back side of a wall. So when you're placing the item, if you press E, it will flip it. So maybe you're trying to make a building look a certain way, or maybe whatever you're putting in, you want it to be facing a certain way. You can press E and it will change the direction of that item to face the way that you want it to. So that's a couple different quick tips for Ark. Hopefully there's something, if you're in Ark, they'll be able to help you out. So that was tip of the week.
Quick tips, yes.
Yeah.
I wish I had a little sound effect, like a little like transition, like a in between each. Yeah, it's like a lightning bolt or something like that in between each hit. That would have been good.
Yep. So yeah, there's kind of a bunch of them in there, but
yeah, there you go. That's I
feel like
we can make multiple sites. We could have survival tip and then quick tips, like a.
Well, I don't know if quick tips will be a ongoing thing. We'll see.
Oh, I guess
it's hard to say.
We'll see if it'll be backed by popular demand next week. Maybe.
Yeah.
Send us an email about quick tips.
That's the hardest to pronounce in fast.
Yes.
Repetition.
Yeah.
Say that.
Well, yeah, that's quick tips. We'll get it next week. All right.
Very good.
I guess.
Is there anything else? We've got our giveaway.
No, we do have our giveaway. How many people do we have entered? I'd love to. We got a lot of people
we
in
have
here.
19 people entered right now.
There you go. Oh, all right then.
So as Gadla says, just a tip. So only one, except for this one.
Gotcha. And except for this game, because there's 2 copies that we're giving away.
I gave a whole bunch of tips for the.
Yes.
Well, I gave a tip on this one game. How about that?
Yes, there you go.
All right, so should we roll now? We're good to go?
Yeah, go for it. We'll go for it.
Okay. So Jay Delory has won the first copy.
Did Jay Delory win last week? H2O?
I don't think he did.
Okay.
Jay Delory, did you win H2O last week?
I don't remember. I feel like he won something last week, maybe. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sure he's going to be like, no, of course I didn't.
Okay, and our second winner?
Okay, so let me pull up. All right.
He didn't. Okay. I couldn't remember.
And Unicorn Joe, who has donated a number of games to us.
Yes, there we go.
So he definitely deserves to win.
Joe and Jay Delory. I won Dark. Okay, there we go. I knew he won something recently. I couldn't remember what game it was. Yeah, it's rigged, just like every week. Yes. Pre-planned. That's what happens. Friends of the show, both of them. That's what happens when you're friends of the show. You get you win the games. It's an unfair contest.
All right, so JD, I sent you one copy. As you know, look in other.
Yes, the other or the spam folder inside of Twitch, because we are I guess we're not a verified thing. Now, Joe is saying, and while Brian's doing that quickly, Friday night, like I mentioned, Langan's going to be doing the King of the Kills, the game of the week, and Joe's going to be giving away a copy of the new Doom. So,
yeah,
Doom, brand new game, just out.
Which I know that I know some people that are going to be rolling on that, because I know some people that are really looking forward to that game, and I'm not going to tell anyone who, because then I know Joe will go and buy it for them. So.
Okay.
If you want it, don't tell Joe. Just come and watch.
Yeah. So I don't think he's going to do it in the stream. I think he's going to do it in the TeamSpeak.
Oh, in TeamSpeak.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it Friday night, though, because the stream is for Tuesdays. I think Friday night for TeamSpeak is the way to go. So.
All right. Yep.
Friday night.
Encourages you to come and play with us, and it's a game that everyone should have. So it's definitely a good day to do it.
Friday night will be giving away. Joe will be giving away a copy of. The new Doom in TeamSpeak Friday night. So be on between 9:30 Eastern and probably 11:30 or midnight Eastern, and it'll be given away at some point during then. So thanks, Joe, for that, and congratulations to all of our winners of the game.
Is there any immersion in Doom? God wants to know.
A 3 out of 10, not much immersion from PHP.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch it's got that kind of Doom feel as far as
it is a Doom, so I mean,
they tried to capture that old Doom feel of how just bulky everything is, because you remember in Doom, like everything was oversized and just the movements and everything, but they did add some pretty crazy things to this one, like where you stick the shotgun in the, I guess what is it, demon's mouth and blow off its head, and you smash them, and just all kinds of crazy stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how smooth that is in actual gameplay. Yeah, it's hard to do a game like that to where it takes a second to do the animation. You don't want it doing that while 3 other things are coming and attacking you. Yeah, so if they don't do it right, it could be a disaster.
Yeah, no good. When you're doing the animation, like Gears of War, like when you're doing like the chainsaw cutting animation, somebody comes from behind and murders you.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool effect when you're doing a live, a stream of.
It's not even doing a stream.
Here, look at what we're showing.
Exactly.
But when you're actually having to play it and you're trying not to die in a really hard level, that's where Infected Heisenberg says you have to manually wipe the blood off your screen. 8 of 10. So first Doom was free. Well, I don't know. Was it free?
I don't know.
I thought I paid for it. I know I bought the original Wolfenstein 3D. That was one of the first games I ever bought on floppy disk, and I think it was like 2 or maybe it was 1 floppy disk.
There you go.
Which is, you got to think it's like a 1 megabyte.
Yeah, in retrospect.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, where can people find you online?
Yep. If you want to get a hold of me on Twitter, go to @BoiseComputer. If you want to check out my blog, biteoftech.com, that's with an I. Or definitely go into infectionpodcast.com, click on our Steam group, join our TeamSpeak. If you're planning on playing with us this Friday night, make sure you have TeamSpeak loaded. Maybe test before Friday night, making sure you can connect to it. That way, if there's an issue, you can get a hold of me or something. But yeah, go join our Steam group. It makes it easier for us to add you, because if we're going to be doing King of the Kill, we need to be able to add you to our group before we go in there. So make sure you're in the Steam group before Friday.
Oh, hold on. We got Oh, it's happening. It's happening. I lost my breaking news sound effect.
Uh-oh.
All right, hold on. We have breaking news. Just got the Steam pop-up. The H1Z1 update. I just got the pop-up. Let me find it. I don't know where it went. Just you're talking and it just pops up. It's like, oh, May 11th update. Maybe it's on Reddit.
Yeah. Well, you figured they would put it there first.
Oh,
and actually, one thing too is we are working on a project, a game.
Yes.
And so I'm not going to be talking about until we're at a point where we want to actually talk about what the game is, to say what it is. But if you'd like to be involved, I know I got some emails from people, and I've been giving their names to Judd. And so if you haven't been gotten back to yet, you can blame it on him, but we'll be getting back to you. So don't worry. We have gotten your message. But if you're interested in helping out with the project, maybe you're good with graphics design, or we're looking at Unreal. If you have some background in that, get a hold of us.
Yeah. So this is the update. We're bringing this to you live right now. May 11th game update. Which will be tomorrow. So this is the patch notes. The servers will be coming down tomorrow at 3 a.m. Pacific. So if you're watching this now, tonight at 3 a.m. Pacific. This is what's going on in this patch. Increased total number, the cap of zombies and wildlife. So there will be more. The cap will be higher. So there could possibly be more zombies and wildlife in a server now. Increase the maximum density of zombies and wildlife per player online. So now per player there should be more wildlife AIs per individual player. Increased how responsive zombies and wildlife are to noise. So that's a big thing. Fixed an issue where skinned weapons could not be smelted in the furnace. That's been fixed. Another issue that fixed where players could too easily destroy middle doors with a melee weapon. I guess that was a bug. That's fixed as well. Fixed an issue where hit markers would sometimes not show up on zombies. That's also been resolved. The camera will be forced into first person. This is for the hunting rifle and the crossbow. We talked about that earlier in the show. Hip fire has been retuned to make firing while moving and jumping less accurate. So this is hip firing while moving and jumping. So you'll be less accurate now hip firing.
That's good though.
Which is great. This is great.
That was a huge thing where people could just be running and snipe you from so far away while they're moving. This will make it more realistic. So you should not be able to shoot as well when you're moving.
No, definitely not. Other than that, the ATV has been retuned for better handling, improvements to hit registration. Kevlar is now called body armor, so that's renamed. Fixed the issue where the AK-47 would sometimes keep firing during a reload. Fixed issues where rifles can poke through objects and shoot players on the other side. Fixed issues where first-person camera can shake or lag when riding as a passenger in a vehicle. And
have you ever experienced that?
Yes, I have. It's very, very
weird.
It's like you're actually sitting in a car driving. The camera's all over the place. And then the last thing on here is the mute all functionality should persist throughout login. So if you say mute all, it should be mute all forever until you unmute all. So that's breaking news on Infection Podcast here.
That was for Survive.
Yes, that was just.
Well, there are things that will probably carry over to both, though.
Did you finish your outro, or did I step on it with the breaking news?
Nope, I think I got it all.
Okay, well then, all right, then we're all set. That was what a way to end. So that is going to do it for episode 69 of Infection. Of course, like Brian said, our Steam group, our team speak. Really, send us an email if you have something you want us to talk about, cover. We've had people just sending us questions, whatever. If you've got something, send it to us or tweet it to us. You can use the contact form on our website, or send us an email, contact@infectionpodcast.com. Plenty of ways to get a hold of us if you need to. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for episode 69 of Infection, the Survival Podcast. My name is Nick Craig. InfectionPodcast.com is the website, and we'll see you next week for Infection. Have a great week, everybody.